Hey dudes and strangers, this is Utah on Sheddington. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to remove rust from the underside of your vehicle. It's something I've done a few times and I haven't seen a video that just really quickly, succinctly shows you how to do it, so that's my intention today. Today's project, under here, all of this rust, this is what we're targeting. First things first, see if you got all the right tools to do it. So what I'm going to be using today is going to be a drill with one of these wire brush bits and one of these less abrasive, sort of almost feels like a Scotch-Brite bit, and then a Dremel with a couple of bits for getting into tighter places. And then these are the magic formulas here. So Corroseal, this magic formula right here, after you've removed as much surface rust as you can, then you paint this stuff on, and it's very watery, so it gets around, it gets all over the place. You'll want to put down some cardboard so that you're not getting it all over your driveway, because it will turn black when it interacts with rust, and that's how you know that it has dried and that it has appropriately cured with the rust, as it turns the rust into a primer and goes from white to black. And then after 24 hours after applying that, you come back with some of this 3M rubberized undercoating. This is the real deal. Definitely recommend it. And of course, probably the most important tools going to be this respirator mask and goggles. You really need to protect yourself when you're doing this. There's going to be rust flying all over the place. Got to look out for your health. Okay, so I typically start with the Dremel. I get those little crevices, I get around the holes, I try and get around the bolts on the edges of them, and I'll go through the different bits just depending on what's best. So that one I had the more fanned out one, this one more of a pencil bit. Some of this rust is deeper than others. You need to spend more time in some places than others. And then you can see some of the dark spots where I went around the bolts with the Dremel and got those. Then I get the screwdriver. A lot of this stuff flaked off because rust had moved under. Kind of a painty, I don't know, whatever overcoating there was before. So sometimes it's just easiest to flick that off with the screwdriver. When you're done with the grinders and those bits, and you're confident that you've got a lot of the rust off, I'll come back with a rag and just brush it off, get a lot of that surface dust and chips out of the way. And then it's time to apply the primer after you've removed all the debris. I should just note, this is not endorsed by Corroseal. I recommend Corroseal because it works for me, worked here. So, as I mentioned earlier, it goes on kind of watery. It's going to be dripping around, and it goes on quick. A little bit goes a long ways. I'll typically do one coat and then come back and put a second coat on. Here you can see some of the coat has begun to dry as I'm still applying it to other places, and as it, I don't know if dry is the right word, but as the chemical process takes place, you can see it turning black. That's where it's converting rust to primer. I also put some up in the wheel well where there wasn't any rust, just as an experiment to see if that would also turn black, and it didn't. Where I put it up in the wheel well where there was not rust, it stayed clear. Everywhere else it turned black, and here you can see after a day what it looks like, all black. So I wait 24 hours and then come back with this rubberized undercoating, spray it 8 to 10 inches away, nice even coat. I do a few coats, and then here you can see the finished product. This is after a few hours of having applied the 3M undercoating, and it goes on well. It looks great. For comparison, here's the other side. Here's what it used to look like. This rusty surface. This is what I have to look forward to. It takes a long time. I do one section of the truck at a time. I'll come back, get this another day. But yeah, that's how it's done. Plenty of patience, and it'll work out great.